Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be testing out top-rated makeup at Ulta. Most of this is really new, but everything has either 4.5 to 5 stars. And despite having really good ratings, I didn't even know some of these products existed because I feel like they're just not getting that much hype. So I'm going to be trying everything on and also doing a wear test as well. So if that sounds good to you guys, let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, so why don't we go ahead and start with foundation first. So I had picked up this Youthforia Date Night Skin Tint Serum Foundation. When I went on the Ulta website, it does have 4.3 out of 5 stars. Tons of people raving about the skin-like finish. A lot of people with mature skin and dry skin saying how much they loved this and that it has really great coverage even though it's super lightweight. So I was excited. One negative that I've seen so far with this is that the shade range isn't the best. I got the shade 230 Light. It says neutral with cool undertones. So I'm hoping that it is truly a cool toned foundation. Sometimes they say they're cool toned, but they're actually not. So I'm just gonna show you guys a swatch of this really quick and the bottle close up. It actually comes in a really nice glass bottle and it also has a pump, which is great. I actually love the purple. And this claims to be made with 68% skincare. It's a weightless skin tint serum foundation formulated with luxurious ingredients for effortless blending that melt into the skin and give a glass skin finish. It also says that it's supposed to reduce the appearance of pores and it's supposed to be really long lasting on the skin. So it does have some pretty lofty claims, but we'll see how it looks on my skin. So just for reference, if you're new to my channel, I'm 46 and I have really dry skin. So I'm thinking I'm gonna apply it with a brush instead of a sponge just because it's a lighter weight skin tint and I wanna try to get the coverage out of it. And I'm going to be using my Jen Phelps brush from my Doll 10 set. I love this brush. It's an angled foundation brush, and so it helps to kind of get in all the little cracks and crevices in your face. And it has those really nice dense bristles for just really pushing the product into your skin. So already I'm kind of amazed at the coverage this has. I do think it looks a little bit yellow for me, I will say that. So I'm just gonna kind of blend it down my neck a little bit. But the coverage on this is really insane. I don't even think I'm gonna need concealer, to be honest. And so far it's looking really smooth on my skin too. I'm hoping that it's gonna continue to look this nice throughout the day. And I see what they mean about the glass skin effect because I do think it's giving my skin that little bit of sheen, but it doesn't look shimmery or glittery. I feel like the glow is more just because it's really hydrating. And I'm also thinking I can get away with one pump for my entire face. I definitely didn't need to go back in and get any more. And I even have a little bit extra on the brush just to blend it down my neck. All right, so I'm just gonna quickly go back over this now that my brush doesn't really have any product on it anymore and just make sure that I pick up any excess product. But honestly, it feels slightly tacky, but for the most part, it's really setting down and just going right into my skin. So let me zoom you guys in and we'll take a look at it close up. All right, so I'm looking in the mirror in front of me here, and I think this looks really, really good. It looks very natural, very skin-like. The coverage on this really blew me away. I think it has a nice satin finish with that little bit of glow, but nothing too dewy. It doesn't seem to be accentuating any dryness on my skin. The finish reminds me a little bit of Estee Lauder's Double Wear, but it doesn't feel quite as dry. Like it didn't dry down as quickly as that does. It's still kind of retaining a little bit of moisture and feels just slightly tacky on my skin. So this might be a good alternative to double wear for those of you who feel like that one is a little bit too dry, but yeah, I really like this so far. Next up, I splurged on a bronzer. So this is the Pat McGrath Divine Bronzer. It's not as expensive as the Gucci one that I really like. That one is 60 something. I think this one is 39. So it's up there, but it kind of seems like a good deal compared to the Gucci one. The reason that I liked the look of this is because it looked like a lot of the colors are really cool toned. And that's the thing that I like about the Gucci bronzer. It's hard to find cooler or rosier toned bronzers. So if I can find one, I'm willing to spend a little bit of extra money for it. So this actually has 5 stars on the Ulta website. The reviews are saying that it has a silky smooth texture, blends like a dream, has a blurring effect, that the colors are really good. That's what kind of sold me. There's one that says, I usually can't wear bronzer. I'm a cooler toned, ultra pale lady and any bronzer looks orange on me. This is perfect. It's not sparkly, it's buildable, it makes it foolproof, and it doesn't turn me orange, and I can't recommend it enough. So that pretty much sold me on this one. I got the shade Nude Honey, which is described as a neutral brown. And the description says that it's an ultra blendable, foolproof, lightweight bronzer designed to create sun-sculpted definition that leaves skin perfected and blurred with demi-matte and pearl finishes. So I think the one that I got is the demi-matte because it doesn't seem to have any sheen in it whatsoever. But I just wanted to put that out there in case you don't like a glowy bronzer. I guess maybe some of the colors that they offer do have a little bit of glow. So I am going to apply this with my Sigma Ultimate Bronzer Brush. This is one of my absolute favorite brushes, and I do really think this color looks beautiful in the pan. So let's see how it looks on. I'm just going to start right up here on my forehead. I was a little tiny bit nervous about the color with this one because this isn't the lightest shade, but I felt like this one looked the most neutral, and actually it looks like it's perfectly fine. It's really not too much. It's not too dark. It's actually a gorgeous color for my skin tone, and it is blending like a dream. Wow. I think I like this color just as much as the Gucci. So if you've had your eye on that one and it's like crazy expensive, I mean, this one isn't cheap either, but like I said, these cool rosy tone bronzers are not easy to find. And this formula is just stunning. I feel like I hardly even have to blend it, and it's not looking muddy or clinging anywhere. Like, it just looks so beautiful. Okay, so yeah, I really think this bronzer is so natural looking. It gives that little bit of sun-kissed glow. I didn't put a ton of it on. You probably could build it up if you want a little bit more color. I just wanted to add a little bit of life to my face, and I think it definitely accomplished that. I would say just based on first impression, I agree with the 5-star reviews. This is really, really nice. Next up, I actually got a MAC eyeshadow palette. Who am I? I don't even know anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't tried a MAC eyeshadow palette ever in my life. This is my first one, believe it or not. And it's called Connecting Color, and there's a few different versions. I ended up getting the burgundy one. Yeah, it's called Embedded in Burgundy. And these have such great reviews that they actually made me want to try a MAC eyeshadow palette for the first time. So these have 4.8 out of 5 stars with like over 500 reviews. And people are just saying that the colors are so easy to work with, or the formula is easy to work with and blend, and that they bought one, loved it so much, they went back and bought another one. So that definitely got me really excited for this. So these are 6-pan eyeshadow palettes. They're $30. Like I said, I got Embedded in Burgundy, and this one says that it's a burgundy toned 6-pan eyeshadow palette with pigment packed color in one swipe for limitless, sultry to sophisticated looks. It says that it's formulated with 25% higher pigment load versus previous MAC eyeshadow palettes. It also says you can wet these shadows to intensify, and that they have smudge proof color and they're crease resistant. So it sounds very promising. I'm gonna start with this mauve shade right up here in the top left corner, and I'm just gonna apply this right to my crease with the BK Beauty A504 brush. Wow, this is blending out beautifully. I'm not even blending it yet, but I just mean it's applying super seamlessly. I feel like most of the time when I apply a matte shadow with this tiny little brush, I have to go back in and then grab a bigger, fluffier brush to blend it out. But this is so blendable, I'm almost able to just blend it with this little brush, which is kind of amazing. I am still gonna blend it with the larger brush anyway. This is the A503 from BK Beauty, but still, it just went on so smooth. It didn't grab to my skin at all. It didn't look patchy. That is really beautiful. Have I been missing out on MAC eyeshadows? Maybe. And you know, it's funny, I read somewhere recently that MAC is one of the most popular makeup brands in the world. And you would think because like we're kind of in our own little makeup community here on YouTube, and if you watch a lot of influencers, you wouldn't think that MAC was super popular because not a lot of people really talk about it. But worldwide, I think it's one of like the most popular makeup brands, if not the most. So it just kind of goes to show that a lot of people are using these brands that you don't hear a lot about in the makeup community. Clinique is another one that I think is like super popular, but nobody really talks about them either. All right, so I think for my outer corner, I want to try this burgundy shade down here. This looks really pretty too. I'm going to pick it up on that little A504 brush again and just start kind of working this into the outer corner. I'm curious to see how a darker shade is going to perform because sometimes those can get patchy, but so far so good. This is actually blending out really well too. I'm really hoping that the shimmer shades end up being decent in this palette because these mattes are just killing it, and that would suck if the shimmer shades weren't good. All right, so next for the shimmer shades, they did mention in the description that you can wet them for more intensity. So I think I'm gonna use my glitter primer because this is sort of like the equivalent of wetting them. It's just a little bit less messy. So this is the NYX glitter primer. I love using this not only for just upping the intensity of shadows, but also it helps them to grip to your eyelids and just last a little bit longer. So I use this almost every single time I do my eye makeup these days. I think I want to try this beautiful purple right down here in the bottom row. It doesn't look like an overly sparkly shadow. It looks like more of a satin finish. So it's not going to go on really metallic, but I think it's going to be great for anybody who just likes a more subtle shadow, or if you have textured eyelids and you don't like a ton of sparkle or glitter. Yeah, this is just like a really subtle kind of a sheen. It's definitely pretty. I do like a metallic shadow, but I also like a subtle one sometimes too. So it's nice to have that option because I feel like most of the palettes that I have are a little bit more intense when it comes to the shimmers. So it's nice to have one if I want my makeup to just look a little bit more conservative or reined in for whatever reason. It's good to have the option. And I also want to say this shade is so soft. It's so velvety and rich. There was no fallout with any of these shadows at all. I'm going to see if I can add maybe just a little bit of pop to the eye look because I feel like it looks sort of monochromatic. So I'm going to try this shimmer shade down here. It's kind of like a rose gold color. These are so nice because they're not chunky at all. I'm just going to put this like right in the center of my lid, and hopefully it adds just like a little bit of dimension. Yeah, this one also very smooth. I can definitely see why people like these eyeshadows. They're so easy to work with, just really great for every day. I think the quality is amazing. I think you would only be disappointed if you want something that is a little bit more metallic when it comes to the shimmer shades. But otherwise, I can't complain about the formula. This feels incredibly high-end and definitely worth it. So anyway, I don't have a new mascara to try, so I'm just gonna use the Hourglass Unlocked Extensions Tubing Mascara. This is the one that I use most days. I did order the new e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara, which is also a tubing formula, and it looks like another Thrive dupe. So I'm hoping that that's gonna come either today or tomorrow. I really wanna compare it to the Thrive and see how it is. Next for blush, I had gotten these Cheeky Pop blushes from Florence by Mills. This is a brand that I think is really hit or miss. I've tried some things I like, some things that aren't the best, but these currently have 4.8 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website. So I was really curious to see what all the hype was about, and I didn't even know that these came out. I haven't heard really anybody talking about them, but the reviews just seem really good. Like this one says, look, I've used it all. Patrick Ta, P. Louise, Honest Beauty, Charlotte Tilbury, but I keep grabbing and using these. They're so easy to use. The pigment is perfect, the shades are gorgeous, and the price is chef's kiss. Don't sleep on these ladies, get them in every color. So I didn't go that far. I ended up getting 2 colors, but that may change if I really love these. So these are $18 each. They come in 6 shades all together, and they claim to be a skin-loving, multi-use blush stick that's creamy, blendable, and you can actually use it on cheeks, lips, or even eyes. So it's like a full face stick, which is really nice. And it's supposed to have a creamy, blendable formula. It's supposed to be moisturizing and help blur the appearance of pores. So out of the 2 colors, I think I'm gonna use Lavish Lena because This one is a little bit more cool tone just to go with my eye look. I don't know if I'm going to apply this right from the stick. Sometimes when that happens, it lifts my foundation. So I think I'm going to try just picking it up on a blush brush first. This is the 107 brush from BK Beauty. So I'm just going to run it along the stick here and then just press it into the skin. Oh yeah, this is working fine. This formula is so nice. It's one of those formulas that just melts right into your skin and it dries down instantly. It has that really nice soft powder finish, so I think that's where they're getting the whole like pore blurring thing from, because it's definitely making my cheek look even a little smoother where I put it, which is so nice. I don't see myself using these on my lips though. I feel like they might be a little bit dry, but look at that color. It's so effortless, not sticky in the slightest bit. Wow, okay, I really like these. I might actually be that person that goes back and gets them in every color. We'll see, but I mean, so far so good. I hope they're long lasting though. I hate when I love a blush and then it just disappears in an hour. Like the Makeup by Mario ones did that to me and I was devastated because I really liked that formula and I spent so much money on those and they disappeared in like an hour, which was just crazy. Wow, this is so, so pretty. This particular color is like the perfect flush of pink. You could kind of just leave it here. It builds upon itself really easily though, if you want to add a little bit more. It's so light. It's like a weightless type of formula that you could just keep adding and it's never gonna get sticky. All right, we will see how this holds up throughout the day, but so far, I agree with the reviews. Next up, we have the new NYX Fat Oil Slick Clicks. So these are tinted lip balms. They currently have a 4.8 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website. That may change as they get more reviews in. They're kind of a newer product, but being real, I was gonna buy these regardless to try them, regardless of the reviews. I ended up getting 6 shades and I wanna try them all on for you guys today. And when I first saw these, I immediately thought of the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips. They might be trying to dupe those, but I'm curious to see how they compare. I like those. I know a lot of people don't. They feel like they're too thick and goopy, but I like the melty texture on my dry lips. So as I was reading the reviews, actually, one person said the packaging is a dupe for Tarte Maracuja. However, it's a completely different product. It's a very nice glossy balm. And another person said it reminds them of the Tarte ones, except a little firmer, which isn't a bad thing. So these might be a good alternative to the Tarte if you don't like how goopy those are. So anyway, let me just quickly show you these close up and we'll look at some swatches. So these claim to be a pigmented balm that provides 12 hours of juicy hydration for all day comfort. The click up packaging dispenses just the right amount of formula. And these are vegan, powered with avocado, cloudberry, and raspberry oils. It's a lightweight, buildable, balmy formula with light as air pigments that are non-sticky with a high shine finish. So they sound perfect. We're gonna go ahead and just, like I said, I'll try on all the shades for you. So we'll start with the lightest shade that I have, which is called DM Me. I see that they're still going with the social media theme for the colors. I know the fat lip oils have names like this as well. So this one looks like a really nice cool toned pink. Oh, wow. The pigment on these is crazy. I was expecting something more sheer. Already, I could say this has more pigment than the Tarte ones do. So DM Me is definitely like a cool bubblegum pink or Pepto-Bismol pink, but I like it. And formula-wise, I agree with the review that said that they're a little firmer than the Tarte ones. They're not nearly as melty. They're not goopy, they're not sticky either. They just have a really smooth feel on the lips and they are pretty glossy, but I feel like there's a little less mess than with the Tarte ones. Like these aren't gonna go outside of your lip line. They feel like they cling pretty well and the pigmentation is crazy. So, all right, here's DM Me. All right, this next one is another cool toned hot pink and it's called #Thriving. All right, so here's this one. It's just a little bit brighter than the one before. One thing I do want to mention as well is that these are leaving a stain behind when I remove them, so that might help them to be a little bit longer lasting even after the shine wears away. So the next one is called That's Major. This one looks like a really pretty cool toned mauve or mauve. Yeah, it's almost like a berry shade actually. This is really pretty. It's still cool toned, but I'd say it's more purple than the other two, which were more pink. Next up, we have the shade Going Viral. This one looks like a really pretty everyday nude. It's a little bit warmer toned. I really like this one. This one is kind of like that Your Lips But Better sort of a color. It's like a pinky nude. The next one I have is a link in my bio, and this one looks like it's a little bit more brown than the one that I just used. This one is really pretty too. It's almost like a terracotta type shade. It's not quite as pink as Going Viral, which is the one that I just used before this one, but it is super pretty. And then the last color I have is In a Mood, and this in the tube, it looks like kind of a burgundy or a wine color. So let's see how it goes on. This is actually giving me Tarte Honeysuckle vibes. It's really similar, but I think it's more pigmented than Honeysuckle. It's the same kind of color, it's just like way more bold. So again, this one is In a Mood. I also forgot to mention scent. These have a little bit of a fruity scent. It's not super strong. Once I put it on, I don't really smell it anymore, but it is there even if it's not overpowering. So for anyone who's sensitive to fragrance in lip products, I just wanted to mention that as well. But overall, I have to say, I really like this formula so far. It's super comfortable to wear. And like I said, it's not sticky and it's not as gooey as the Tarte ones. So if you like a tinted lip balm that's just really smooth and actually packs a ton of pigment, I think you're gonna love these, and I have a feeling these are gonna be a very big hit for NYX. In some ways, they're reminding me of the Moira signature lipsticks. I had one right here because I've been wearing these constantly. These are also like a tinted lip balm that's really smooth and not sticky, but has a ton of pigment like a lipstick. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. And as somebody who has really dry lips, being able to have a lipstick that's as hydrating as a balm is just such a good thing. So anyway, guys, I'm super impressed with everything that I tried today. So far, they are living up to their high ratings, but I will be back with some final thoughts because I want to see how all of these hold up, from the blush to the foundation, the eyeshadow, even these lipsticks. I'm curious to see how they wear. So I'll see you guys back here in about 8 or 9 hours or so. Hey guys, I'm back. It's been about 8.5 hours or so since I applied everything. I would have to say most things are holding up really well. The foundation is still holding its own, and I'm really shocked that my nose doesn't look red, because usually that's the first place a foundation wears away, and I don't have really any of that redness peeking through that I normally would. Maybe just like ever so slightly, but this definitely has an impressive wear time, although I will say it's starting to look a little bit dry on me. It doesn't have the same glow that it had in the beginning. And when I went to pick up my son several hours ago, it was around 3 p.m. I took some pictures in the car and I noticed that my chin is starting to take on that fuzzy appearance. It didn't look like that initially when I first applied the foundation. It's just kind of clinging to the dry skin that's on my chin. And also I felt like just on my cheek area, I could see my pores a little bit more. And I know that this stuff said that it was supposed to like smooth out your pores. And while it did at first, I feel like now they're just looking more visible again. And overall, if I look at my face up close, it looks a little bit more makeup-y than it did when I first applied it. So I think it's just probably the foundation settling. And I did not apply a primer, which I'm definitely going to do next time, because I think a primer might help that situation. If I have a layer down underneath the foundation, maybe something silicone based that's just going to create that barrier, then maybe it won't have a tendency to settle in quite as much. So I will definitely try that. I always like to try foundations on bare skin first, just to get a good idea of how they would perform on their own. But I do really love how this looked initially and how full coverage it is, yet just really lightweight. So I definitely want to make this work any way that I can. And I'll be sure to update you guys, because I always do like best and worst of videos and monthly roundups and things like that. So I'll have to let you guys know how that works. works, but those are just my initial first impressions. Also, the Florence by Mills blushes held up so beautifully, which I was really happy about. I was hoping that would be the case because I love how these applied. The formula is so good. I definitely want to pick up more shades now. This formula was just such a pleasure to work with, and the fact that it holds up as well as it does is just another added bonus. So I'm really super happy with those. Those are probably my favorite cream blush that I've tried in a really long time. As far as the Pat McGrath bronzer, I do still see that on my skin as well. And I also thought that this was such a beautiful, seamless experience. I love the color. I just think it's perfect for my skin tone. So overall, this was another really good buy. It is a little bit more than I'd love to spend on a bronzer. I think if you're looking for something with that really cool undertone that's hard to find, this is a really good one. And the MAC eyeshadows too, I think these look really good. They are definitely crease resistant. I haven't had any issues with creasing. I think everything looks just the way it did when I applied it 8 hours ago now. I will say I don't see myself reaching for this palette on a super regular basis because I do love a more metallic shimmer shade, and I felt like these shimmers were just way more on the subtle side, but there are definitely times when I want more of a subdued eye look, and I think this formula is really top notch. It's beautiful. And then we have the NYX Fat Oil Slick Clicks. So these, oh my gosh, I love them already. I'm wearing That's Major. I just switched it up because the color that I was wearing before did fade when I was eating lunch. And these are not transfer proof. When I went to take a sip of my water bottle before, right after I applied everything, the lipstick got all over the rim of my bottle. So they're not transfer proof and they do wear away pretty quickly, although they leave a little bit of a stain behind. So it's not a product that is going to be super long lasting. If you eat or drink anything, you're gonna want to reapply these afterwards. But if you're not eating or drinking anything, I think they stay in place pretty well. They do have a little bit more grip to them than something like the Tarte ones do that are just slippery and melty. So overall, I love these. I might even like them more than the Tarte ones. And I think if you guys are not a fan of the Tarte formula, you're gonna like these a lot more. So anyway, those are just some quick final thoughts. But as always, I will be sure to keep you guys updated in future videos when I do roundups and things like that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I really, really appreciate it so much. And if you have some extra time and you need to catch up on some of my videos, because I know I'm posting every day with Vlogmas, I'll just go ahead and put my playlist right up here and you can check those out next. Thank you guys so much. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.